Marina squeezed her eyes shut, trying to hold back the tears that insisted on escaping. The constant hum of the airplane engines seemed to amplify the painful silence that had taken over her chest. 3 hours of flight. Only 3 hours since she had left Theo in the arms of Juliana, her sister, at Guarulhos airport. 3 months. Her baby was only 3 months old. The physical pain was almost unbearable. Her breasts were so full that every movement, every bit of turbulence, sent waves of discomfort through her body. The milk that should have been nourishing her son was now torturing her, a constant reminder of what she had left behind. Marina crossed her arms over her chest, trying to relieve the pressure, but it was useless. She looked out the window, seeing only darkness dotted by distant lights of some city below. Where was she now? Over the Atlantic. The geography hardly mattered. What mattered was that every mile took her further away from Theo, from his scent, from the way he snuggled into her lap, from the little dark eyes that stared at her with total trust. But there was no choice. Marina repeated this to herself for the 1,000th time. There was no choice. The overdue rent, the electricity and water bills piling up, the empty fridge, the unemployment that felt like a life sentence in her neighborhood on the outskirts of São Paulo, and Bruno, Theo's father, who had vanished the exact moment she showed him the positive pregnancy test. A ghost, a coward. The employment agency had been clear. A family in Portugal needed someone immediately. The salary was 3 times higher than anything she could get in Brazil. In 6 months, maybe a year, she would have saved enough money to return and start over, to give Theo what he deserved: education, health, a future. Marina took a deep breath, but the pain in her chest only increased. She needed to go to the bathroom to express some milk, or she would lose her mind. She was about to stand up when a sound cut through the air. A cry, high-pitched, desperate. A baby. Marina's heart raced. Her body reacted before her mind could process it. The rush of maternal adrenaline was instant. She turned her head toward the sound. Business class. The curtains separating the cabins were partially open and she could see movement up ahead. The crying continued. And then, as an involuntary response from her own body, Marina felt her milk leak, the warm, wet sensation spreading through her blouse. She pressed her arms tighter against her chest, mortified but unable to control the reaction. That cry wasn't like Theo's, it was sharper, more desperate. A girl, Marina concluded instinctively, and she was hungry, very hungry. Minutes passed and the crying didn't stop. Marina could hear a male voice, tense, speaking quietly. Portuguese, a Brazilian accent, she was sure. The flight attendants came and went, visibly concerned. The baby cried, louder. Marina couldn't take it anymore. It wasn't just the sound, it was everything. The pain in her breasts, Theo's absence, the maternal instinct screaming inside her, demanding she do something, anything. She stood up before she was even conscious of the decision. Her steps were uncertain as she walked down the narrow aisle of economy. The curtains. She needed to get past the curtains. A flight attendant appeared, politely trying to block her path. But Marina ignored her. She gently pushed the curtain aside and stepped into business class. The scene she found made her heart ache. A man, probably in his early 30s, was sitting in a reclining seat that looked like it cost more than everything Marina owned. He had messy, dark hair, deep circles under his eyes, and was holding a tiny baby who was crying inconsolably. Around him, there were at least 4 different baby bottles, all rejected, cans of formula, diapers, an organized chaos of despair. The man looked up as Marina approached. His brown eyes were bloodshot, and she could see exhaustion in every line of his face. Marina didn't know what to say. The words felt stuck in her throat. She just stood there in her cheap blouse stained with milk, her hair in a messy bun, her hands trembling. Finally, she managed to speak. Her voice came out hoarse, barely audible over the baby's crying. I have milk." The man blinked, as if he wasn't sure he'd heard correctly. Marina felt her face burn with embarrassment, but she didn't back down. "Breast milk," she clarified, her voice gaining a little more firmness. "I left my baby in Brazil. I have a lot of milk. She's hungry, I can help." For a moment, time seemed to freeze. The man stared at her with a mixture of shock, confusion, and something Marina couldn't identify. The baby continued to cry, her little fists clenched, her face red from the effort. Then the man looked at his daughter, back at Marina, at his daughter again. "You would do that?" he asked, his voice cracking slightly. You would nurse my daughter?" Marina nodded. She didn't trust her voice in that moment. The man stood up abruptly, holding the baby with care. A flight attendant appeared, trying to understand what was happening, but he dismissed her with a quick wave of his hand. "Please," he said, and there was a genuine plea in his eyes. "Please help her. She hasn't accepted anything in the last 6 hours. No formula, nothing. I don't know what else to do." Marina extended her arms, and the man, without hesitation, placed the baby in them. The child was so small, so light. She couldn't be more than a few weeks old. Her cry was so piercing that Marina felt tears in her own eyes. "Is there somewhere more private?" Marina asked, still holding the baby against her chest. The man looked around, desperate. "The curtain, I can pull the curtain. Or should we go to the bathroom?" "Here is fine," Marina decided. "Just pull the curtain, please." He obeyed immediately, enclosing them in a bubble of relative privacy. Marina sat in the executive seat, settling the baby. Her fingers trembled as she adjusted her clothes. The little girl was so desperate she found the breast almost instantly. And then silence. The deepest silence Marina had ever experienced. The baby stopped crying the exact second she began to nurse. Her little eyes closed, her tiny hands relaxed, and she began to make those soft sounds of satisfaction that only babies can produce. Marina looked down at that tiny face and felt something break inside her chest. It wasn't Theo, but it was a baby who needed her. And in that moment, nursing a stranger's daughter at 30,000 feet, Marina allowed herself to feel useful again. The man had sat in the seat next to her, his hands covering his face. Marina could see his shoulders shaking. He was crying, silently, but crying. "Thank you," he murmured, without taking his hands off his face. "Thank you, you have no idea what this means." Marina said nothing. She just continued to cradle the baby, stroking her head covered in fine light brown hair. The child nursed voraciously, as if she had never eaten before, and Marina wondered how many hours she had gone without a proper meal. After a few minutes, the man finally lifted his face. His eyes were red, but there was a relief so profound in his expression that Marina felt a pang in her heart. "I'm sorry," he said, wiping his face with the back of his hand. It was a nightmare, a complete nightmare. She wouldn't take anything. I tried every formula the pediatrician recommended. Nothing worked. And the flight is so long, I thought that something bad was going to happen." "It's okay now," Marina said softly, still focused on the baby. "She was just hungry. Babies know what they need." The man nodded, running his hands through his hair. "My name is Rafael Almeida, and this is Sofia, my daughter. She's 2 weeks old." 2 weeks. So small, so vulnerable. "Marina," she introduced herself. "Marina Souza. My baby Theo is 3 months old." Rafael looked at her, really saw her for the first time. Marina could imagine what he was thinking. Her cheap clothes, her tired appearance, the contrast between them was stark. He was wearing a dress shirt that probably cost more than Marina's monthly rent. Even in the chaos, everything about him screamed money. Expensive watch, leather shoes, designer briefcase. "Where is your baby?" Rafael asked, genuinely curious. Marina swallowed hard. "In São Paulo, with my sister. I'm going to Portugal, to work." She didn't elaborate. She didn't need to. Rafael seemed to understand what she didn't say. His eyes softened and he nodded slowly. "Sofia doesn't have a mother, either," he said quietly, looking at his daughter. "Her mother left both of us, said she wasn't ready, that she couldn't do it, just took her things and left when Sofia was 5 days old." Marina felt a tightness in her chest. Abandoned, just like her. Maybe not in the same way, but the pain was universal. "I'm sorry," she murmured. "Me too," Raphael replied. "I'm sorry for you, for having to leave your son." They sat in silence for a moment, only the soft sound of the baby nursing filling the space between them. Marina adjusted Sophia, switching her position with the practice of someone who did this every day. The baby protested briefly, but soon settled down again, continuing to nurse on the other side. "You're a natural," Raphael observed, "with babies." Marina gave a small, sad smile. 3 months of intensive practice. "I have no practice at all," Raphael admitted, his voice heavy with frustration. "Not a single day. Her mother left and I had no idea what to do. I hired nannies. 3 different ones in the last 2 weeks. They all quit. Sophia cries a lot. She won't take a bottle. I thought maybe in London, where I'm moving for work, it would be easier to find qualified help. But now I don't even know anymore." London. So he was heading to the same continent, just a different connection. "Babies sense when we're nervous," Marina said gently. "They absorb our energy. If you're terrified, she gets terrified." Raphael let out a bitter laugh. "Then we're doomed, because I am absolutely terrified." Marina looked at him, really looked. Beneath the expensive suit and the despair, she saw something familiar. Fear, loneliness, the same sensation of drowning that she knew so well. Sophia had finished nursing and was now sleeping deeply in Marina's arms, completely satisfied. Her face was relaxed, her lips still making soft, sucking motions even in sleep. "She's beautiful," Marina whispered. "You saved her," Raphael said, his voice full of emotion. "I don't know how to thank you." Marina was about to respond when she felt something shift, an idea beginning to form in Raphael's mind. She could see it in his eyes, in the way he looked at his daughter in her arms, in the way his expression changed from despair to something different. Hope, perhaps. "Marina," he began, hesitant, "I know this is going to sound completely crazy, but you said you're going to Portugal to work as what exactly?" "A housekeeper," Marina answered, without shame. "Taking care of a house, cooking, cleaning." Raphael nodded slowly, eyes fixed on Sophia. "And how much are they paying you?" Marina frowned, confused by the question. 1,200 euros a month, plus room and board." She saw Raphael do a quick mental calculation. Then he leaned forward, his hands clasped together, and looked directly into her eyes. "What if I offer double that? £2,500 a month, plus housing, food and everything you need, to be Sophia's nanny, exclusively hers." Marina blinked, not understanding. "What?" "You," Raphael said, his voice gaining urgency. "You are a natural with her. Sophia calmed down with you in seconds. Seconds, Marina. Something no one else has managed to do. And you have breast milk. You could nurse her, take care of her, and I desperately need someone I can trust." Marina's heart raced. This was madness, complete madness. She didn't know this man, and even if she did... "But I have a son," she said, her voice coming out louder than she intended. "I can't just bring him," Raphael interrupted her. His eyes shone with a determination that hadn't been there before. "Bring your son, immediately. I have resources. I can handle all the paperwork, visas, tickets, everything, in a matter of days. You and Theo would be together, and Sophia would get the care she needs." Marina was speechless. She looked at the baby sleeping in her arms, then at Raphael, then back at Sophia. "Are you serious?" she finally asked. "Completely," Raphael answered without hesitation. Marina couldn't process what she had just heard. Raphael's words echoed in her, mind as if they were in a foreign language she was still learning to translate. "Bring Theo, stay with him. £2,500. That was a fortune in reais." She looked at Sophia, still sleeping peacefully in her arms. The baby was so at peace, so trusting, as if she knew somehow that she was safe. "I can't accept this," Marina said, but her voice came out weak, lacking conviction. "Why not?" Raphael asked, leaning even further forward. Marina, please listen to me. I'm not a crazy person. Well, maybe I'm a little crazy with despair right now, but I'm not dangerous. I'm the CFO of TechBridge Solutions, a financial technology company. I have references, a track record. You can check everything about me online before we even get off this plane. Marina shook her head, trying to organize her thoughts. It's not that, it's just, this is so sudden, so surreal. I don't know you, you don't know me. How can you trust me with your daughter? Raphael smiled for the first time, and Marina realized it was a handsome smile, despite the exhaustion surrounding it. You just did something no one else did. You saw a need and without thinking of yourself offered help. You didn't ask for anything in return, you didn't hesitate. And Sophia, look at her. She's never slept like this. Never. It was true. Sophia was completely relaxed, her breathing soft and regular. Marina could feel the warmth of the little one against her chest, so similar to Theo that her heart ached. But what about the family in Portugal? Marina asked. They're expecting me. I signed a contract. I'll handle it, Raphael said immediately. I'll pay any contract penalty. I'll explain the situation. I have lawyers who can take care of that in hours. Marina closed her eyes. The temptation was overwhelming. To have Theo back. Not to spend months away from him. To watch him grow. But what if this was too good to be true? What if it was a trap of some kind? Do you have family? She asked, opening her eyes again. Someone who can vouch for you. Raphael hesitated and something passed over his face. Pain, perhaps. My parents died in a car accident when I was 22. I have no siblings. My ex's family, well, they took her side. So no, I don't have family. It's just me and Sophia now. The loneliness in his words was palpable. Marina recognized it because she felt the same thing. Orphaned since 19, when her mother finally lost her battle with cancer, abandoned by her son's father, just her, Juliana, and now Theo. Look, Raphael continued, taking a leather wallet from the inner pocket of his jacket. He pulled out a business card and handed it to Marina. This is my card. My cell number is there, my corporate email. When we land, you can call whoever you want. Verify my story. Speak to my executive assistant. 2. The HR department of my company. I'll give you time to think, to investigate. Just don't say no immediately. Marina took the card with her free hand. It was heavy, high quality. The gold-embossed letters read, Rafael Almeida, Chief Financial Officer, TechBridge Solutions, an address in London, several phone numbers. And where would this be? She asked. Where do you live? London, Raphael answered. More specifically, a house in Richmond. It's a residential neighborhood, quiet. Near the Thames, I have a small team. A housekeeper, Mrs. Thompson, who has looked after the house for years. A gardener who comes 3 times a week. A cook, Donna Amelia, who is also Brazilian, by the way. You would have your own suite, total privacy. And as soon as Theo arrives, I'd prepare a room for him. Whatever you wanted. Marina tried to imagine it. A house in London. Richmond. She didn't even know where that was. Her own suite. Staff. Housekeeper. It all seemed like something out of a movie, not real life. For how long? She asked. How long would this job be for? Raphael opened his mouth, then closed it. He looked at Sophia, then at Marina. Honestly, I don't know. As long as you want to stay. I need stability for Sophia. I need someone who won't leave after a week because she cries too much or because they found something better. So, ideally, at least a year. But we can do a 6-month contract first, if you prefer, with clauses that protect both sides. A year, 6 months. Any of those terms would mean security, money saved, a future for Theo that she could never build alone in Brazil. I need to think, Marina said finally. I need to call my sister, talk to her. Of course, Raphael agreed immediately. Absolutely. When we land, you can use my phone, call whoever you need. Take as much time as you need at the airport to decide. I only ask that you think carefully, because I believe this could be good for all of us. Sophia stirred a little in Marina's arms, making a small sound. Marina automatically began to rock her gently, and the baby settled again. "She trusts you," Raphael said softly. "And I trust her." The next few hours of the flight passed in a strange blur. Marina ended up staying in business class, with Raphael insisting she needed comfort after everything. She reclined in the luxurious seat, Sophia still in her arms, and tried to organize the jumble of thoughts in her head. Raphael told her more about himself, how he had grown up in a working-class neighborhood in Belo Horizonte, the son of a mechanic, how he had gotten a scholarship to one of the best universities in the country, how he had worked double, triple hard to prove he deserved to be there, how he had built his career from scratch, reaching his current position at 33. There was a genuine humility in the way he spoke, despite his achievements. He didn't brag. He just told his story as it was without embellishment. Marina, in turn, shared fragments of her own life. The dream of being a nurse she had to abandon when her mother got sick. How she cared for her until the end, using all the family savings on treatments that didn't work. How she met Bruno in a moment of vulnerability and believed him when he said he loved her. How she discovered the pregnancy alone in a public bathroom with no one to hold her hand. "You are strong," Raphael said when she finished. "Stronger than you realize." "I don't feel strong," Marina admitted. "I feel broken most of the time." "Strength isn't about not breaking," Raphael replied. "It's about continuing even when you are broken." When the plane began its descent, Marina had fed Sophia 2 more times. The baby was unrecognizable from the hysterical child she had found hours earlier. She was calm, fed, and had even given a few small smiles to Raphael, who reacted as if he had seen a miracle. Heathrow Airport was immense and intimidating. Marina had never left Brazil before. Everything was new, scary, overwhelming. But Raphael remained by her side through the entire immigration process, translating when necessary, ensuring she understood everything. While they waited for luggage, Marina finally took the phone Raphael had lent her and called Juliana. It was 4 in the morning in São Paulo, but her sister answered on the second ring. "Marina, are you okay? Did you arrive in Portugal?" "Ju," Marina began, her voice trembling. "Something happened, something unexpected." She told her everything, every detail. The baby's crying, the offer of help, Raphael, the proposal. Juliana was silent for so long that Marina thought the call had dropped. "Are you serious?" Juliana finally said. "Marina, this sounds, I don't know, it sounds risky. You don't know this man." "I know," Marina replied, "but Ju, he's offering to bring Theo, immediately, and the money, it's more than double what I would earn. It could change everything for us." "Or it could be dangerous," Juliana insisted. "Rich men don't make these offers out of nowhere. There has to be something else." Marina looked at Raphael, who was a few meters away, holding Sophia and making silly faces to make her laugh. He didn't look dangerous. He looked exhausted. He looked desperate. He looked lost. He looked like her. "I'm going to ask him to talk to you," Marina said. "You can ask whatever questions you want, check everything about him, and then tell me what you think. Please?" Juliana sighed. "All right, put him on." Marina called Raphael over and explained the situation. He took the phone without hesitation. "Hello? Juliana? My name is Raphael Almeida. I completely understand your concern. If I were you, I would be suspicious too. So please ask whatever you want. I will answer everything." Marina stepped away a little, giving them privacy. She watched Raphael talking to Juliana. He was patient, answering every question calmly, even sharing the link to his company's website and his LinkedIn profile. After nearly 20 minutes, he handed the phone back to Marina. "She wants to talk to you," he said. Marina took the cell phone. "So, he seems legitimate," Juliana admitted. "I checked everything while we were talking. The company exists. He really is the CFO. There are articles about him in business magazines, photos at corporate events, and honestly, Mari, he sounds genuinely desperate. He sounds like a scared father trying to do the best for his daughter." "So you think I should accept?" There was a pause. "I think you should try, carefully, make a very detailed contract. But yes, Because the chance to have Theo back, not to spend months away from him, that's priceless. Marina felt tears in her eyes. Thank you, Ju. Just take care of yourself, okay? And keep me informed of everything. Anything strange? You grab Theo and come back immediately. I promise. When she hung up, Raphael was looking at her expectantly. Sophia had fallen asleep again in his arms. I accept, Marina said, and felt as if she were jumping off a cliff without knowing if there was water below. But with some conditions. A huge smile broke across Raphael's face. Anything, name it. A formal contract, in writing, with all obligations and rights for both sides, and you bring Theo in no more than a week. 3 days, Raphael counteroffered. I'll bring him in 3 days. I'll put my assistant on it today. Marina extended her hand. Raphael shook it, firm and warm. We have an agreement, she said. We have a chance, Raphael corrected, looking at Sophia. A chance to make this work. For all of us. And as they left the airport toward a black limousine waiting for them, Marina allowed herself to feel something she hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. Raphael's house wasn't just a house, it was an estate. Marina stood paralyzed as the car passed through wrought iron gates and followed a tree-lined driveway. The 3-story Georgian-style building appeared like something out of a period drama. Red brick, huge windows with white frames, a meticulously manicured garden that seemed infinite. It's a lot, I know, Raphael said, noticing her expression. He held Sophia, who was awake and looking around with her curious little eyes. I bought it 2 years ago when I got a big promotion. I thought it would be a family home, that I'd fill it with children and laughter and life, but it ended up just being me. And now, Sophia. And now you too, Marina wanted to add, but didn't. Instead, she just nodded, trying not to look completely overwhelmed. The front door opened before they even got out of the car. A woman of about 60 with grey hair in an elegant bun and an impeccable navy blue dress came down the steps. Her face was stern, but her eyes lit up when she saw Sophia. Mr. Almeida, she said with a distinct British accent, welcome back. And who is this young lady? Mrs. Thompson, this is Marina Souza, Raphael introduced, helping Marina out of the car. She will be Sophia's new nanny. Marina, this is Mrs. Edith Thompson, our housekeeper. She basically runs this entire house and probably half of Richmond too. Mrs. Thompson offered a small but genuine smile. It's a pleasure, dear. I hope Mr. Almeida explained that we don't follow excessive formalities here. Call me Edith, please. Marina shook. The woman's outstretched hand. Marina is fine, and thank you for welcoming me. Oh dear, the house needs young life, Edith said, looking at Sophia with obvious affection. Especially this little one. Has she eaten well on the trip? Raphael smiled. Thanks to Marina, yes, she has been miraculous. Edith raised an eyebrow with curiosity, but didn't ask questions. Instead, she gestured to the door. Come, come. I prepared the East Wing room for Miss Marina. I thought she would like privacy, and the cook has left a light dinner prepared for your arrival. The interior of the house was even more impressive. Polished wooden floors, crystal chandeliers, double staircases with carved banisters, artwork on the walls. Marina felt completely out of place in her cheap travel clothes and worn backpack. Edith guided them up the stairs, Raphael following behind with Sophia. The room prepared for Marina was on the 2nd floor, at the end of a wide corridor. When Edith opened the door, Marina had to hold her breath. It wasn't a room. It was a suite, bigger than the entire apartment where she lived with Juliana in Sao Paulo. There was a king-size bed with a canopy, a sitting area with a sofa and television, a walk-in closet the size of a normal bedroom, and a marble bathroom with a Victorian tub and separate shower. It's too much, Marina managed to say, her voice almost a whisper. If you don't like it, we can switch you to another room, Raphael offered immediately. We have 7 bedrooms, you can choose. No, Marina said quickly. No, it's perfect. It's just, I've never had anything like this. Raphael stepped forward, Sophia still in his arms. Marina, I need you to understand something. You are not here as a servant. You are here as the person taking care of my daughter. Of the most important person in my life. That makes you important too. And I treat important people with respect and dignity. Marina felt her eyes sting with tears she wouldn't shed. Not yet. Thank you. The room next door, Edith said softly, is being prepared for when your son arrives. It will be identical to little Sophia's room, which is across the hall. I thought it would be good for both to be close. Raphael nodded. And I am arranging everything necessary. Crib, changing table, toys, clothes, everything. You just need to tell me if there is anything specific Theo needs or likes. Marina could hardly believe it. 3 days. In 3 days, she would have Theo back in her arms. The idea was so overwhelming, she had to sit on the edge of the bed. Are you okay? Raphael asked, concern evident in his voice. Yes, Marina replied, wiping her eyes quickly. It's just a lot happening very fast. I understand, Raphael said. Why don't you rest a bit? Take a shower. Put on something comfortable. The cook, Donna Amelia, made feijoada. I thought you might like something familiar. The mention of Brazilian food made Marina's stomach rumble. She hadn't realized how hungry she was. That would be great. Great, Raphael repeated, already heading to the door. Come down when you're ready. No rush. And Marina? Welcome. Truly. After he left, Marina finally allowed herself to explore the room. She opened the closet and found new clothes, still with tags, casual dresses, trousers, blouses, all in her size somehow. When she looked closer, she saw a handwritten note from Edith. I estimated the sizes. If anything doesn't fit, we'll exchange it immediately. There were also toiletries in the bathroom, shampoo, conditioner, creams. All brands Marina only knew from magazines. And on the nightstand beside the bed, a new cell phone in the box with another note. So you can communicate freely. No restrictions on calls or internet. Ah. Marina picked up the phone with trembling hands. This was real. All of this was real. She took the longest shower of her life, letting the hot water wash away not just the travel grime, but also layers of stress and fear she had carried for months. When she finally came out, she put on one of the new outfits, a simple blue cotton dress that fit her body perfectly. When she went down for dinner, she found Raphael in the dining room, a huge table with seats for 12 people, but only 2 settings placed at one end, close to each other. Sophia slept in a portable bassinet beside his chair. You look beautiful, Raphael said when he saw her, and it didn't sound like an empty compliment. It sounded sincere. Thank you for the clothes, and for the phone. You didn't have to. Yes, I did, Raphael insisted, pulling out a chair for her. Sit down. Donna Amelia is eager to meet you. The cook, a chubby woman in her 50s with a warm smile, appeared from the kitchen carrying steaming dishes. Finally, another Brazilian in this house, she exclaimed in Portuguese. Mr. Raphael told me about you. Welcome, dear. Welcome. The feijoada was perfect. The rice, the farofa, the kale, the orange slices, everything exactly as Marina remembered from home. She ate until she couldn't anymore, and Donna Amelia beamed with every bite. Tomorrow I'll make fresh pão de queijo for breakfast, she promised, and when your little boy arrives, I'll make everything he likes. Chocolate cake? Brigadeiro? Just tell me. After dinner, Raphael and Marina went to the terrace overlooking the garden. The night was clear, and Marina could see the city lights in the distance. Sophia continued to sleep peacefully in the bassinet between them. Tell me more about Theo, Raphael asked. What is he like? Marina smiled, feeling her chest warm just thinking about her son. He's perfect. He has big dark eyes like mine, a bunch of black hair that stands up in a funny way. He smiles a lot. And when he's hungry, he doesn't cry right away. First, he makes these little, quiet noises, as if he's trying to warn me politely before really complaining. Raphael laughed. He sounds amazing. And Sophia? Marina asked. What was she like before her mother left? Raphael's expression darkened a little. She always cried a lot, since she was born. Her mother, Beatrice, got frustrated, said there was something wrong with the baby. But the doctors said Sophia was healthy, just sensitive, needed more contact, more presence. Beatrice couldn't give that. or didn't want to. I don't know anymore. I'm sorry, Marina said softly. Me too. But look at her now. Raphael gestured to Sophia, who was sleeping deeply. You did in hours what no one managed in weeks. You have a gift, Marina. It's not a gift, Marina corrected. It's love. Babies feel love, and they need it as much as food. Raphael was silent for a moment, just looking at her. Marina felt the weight of that gaze, but it wasn't uncomfortable. It was curious, evaluating, but also gentle. Can I ask a personal question? He finally said. You can. Why did Theo's father leave? Marina took a deep breath. Because he was a coward. Because the idea of responsibility terrified him. Because to him, I was just temporary fun, not something serious. When I told him about the pregnancy, he said he couldn't be sure the baby was his. Then he blocked my number and disappeared. I found out later he moved to another state. He's an idiot, Raphael said bluntly. Marina blinked, surprised by the candor. Then she laughed. Yes, that's true. And Sophia's mother is a coward too, Raphael continued. She had a whole pregnancy to prepare. Therapy, books, courses. I was there to help with everything. But when Sophia was born and reality hit, she panicked, said she couldn't do it, that she felt suffocated, and just walked away. Were you married? Engaged, Raphael corrected. We were going to get married next month. But now, there's nothing left. She left a letter, said she loved me, but she couldn't be a mother, that I would be better off without her. And do you agree? Raphael looked at Sophia. At first, no. I was angry. Then I was devastated. But now I think so. Sophia deserves someone who chooses to stay, not someone who needs to be convinced to love her. Marina understood perfectly. Theo deserves that too. They sat in comfortable silence for a while, just listening to the sounds of the night. Crickets, the wind in the trees, Sophia's soft breathing. Thank you, Raphael said suddenly. For what? For accepting. For trusting me, even without knowing me. For giving Sophia a chance, and for giving me a chance too. Marina turned to him. In the soft light of the terrace, she could see the sincerity in his eyes. There were no ulterior motives, no malice, just genuine gratitude and the deep weariness of someone who had been carrying the world on his shoulders alone for too long. Thank you, she replied, for giving me the chance to get my son back, for treating me with dignity when I had nothing to offer but breast milk. You offered much more than that, Raphael said softly. You offered compassion. In a moment where you were carrying your own pain, you saw someone else's pain and chose to help. That says everything about who you are. Marina felt tears in her eyes again, but this time she let them fall. Because they were tears of relief, of hope, of a future that for the first time in a long while didn't look completely bleak. Sophia stirred in the bassinet, making a small noise. Marina and Raphael automatically leaned toward her, ready to intervene, but the baby just turned her little head to the side and continued sleeping. They laughed together, the sound mingling with the night breeze. And in that moment Marina knew. She knew she had made the right decision, that this huge and scary house could become a home, that this man, this stranger who had made a crazy proposal on an airplane, could become a friend, maybe even more than that. But she pushed that last thought away quickly. It was too soon, too complicated. She was there to take care of Sophia, to rebuild her life with Theo. Nothing more. At least that was what she told herself. The 3 longest days of Marina's life finally ended. She was at Heathrow Airport again, but this time her heart was beating for a completely different reason. Raphael was by her side, Sophia sleeping peacefully in her stroller. He had insisted on coming personally to pick up Theo and Juliana. You don't have to do this, Marina had said for the 10th time that morning. You can send a driver. I want to do this, Raphael had replied, firm. Theo is important to you, so he is important to me, and I want to meet your sister personally, show her that she can trust me with both of you. Now, watching the arrivals board, Marina could barely breathe. The flight from Sao Paulo had landed 15 minutes ago. Any moment now, Juliana would walk through the sliding doors holding Theo, her baby, her son. After just 3 days, it felt like an eternity. "There," Raphael said, suddenly pointing. "Is that her?" Marina followed his gaze and her heart almost exploded. It was Juliana in her characteristic red jacket, pushing a stroller with Theo inside. Even from a distance, Marina could see her son's little face, and her legs moved before her brain processed the command. She ran, crossed the crowd of people, almost tripping over suitcases, not caring about the stairs. Juliana saw her and stopped, a huge smile breaking across her face. And then Marina was there, picking Theo up from the stroller, holding him against her chest, breathing in his scent, feeling the small but perfect weight of his body. Theo, who was awake, made that little quiet noise she knew so well, and then started rooting for her breast, hungry. "Hi, my love," Marina whispered, tears streaming freely down her face. "Mommy is here. Mommy is here now. I will never leave you again. Never." Juliana hugged them both, crying too. He was a champion on the trip, almost didn't cry. It's like he knew he was coming to find you. Raphael approached respectfully, keeping an appropriate distance to give them privacy, but Juliana noticed him and stepped away from Marina to study him properly. "Raphael?" she asked. "Yes," he confirmed, extending his hand. "It is a pleasure to finally meet you in person, Juliana. Thank you for trusting me. I know it wasn't easy." Juliana shook his hand, but Marina could see the cautious assessment in her sister's eyes. "Thank you for bringing my nephew, and for everything you are doing for my sister. She is doing more for me than I am for her," Raphael said sincerely. "Look." He gestured to the stroller where Sophia slept peacefully. "This is Sophia, my daughter, and in the last 3 days, thanks to your sister, she is like she has never been. Calm, fed, happy." Juliana looked at the baby, and something in her expression softened. "She is beautiful." "Like Theo," Raphael replied, looking at the baby in Marina's arms. "May I?" Marina hesitated only a second before nodding. Raphael extended his arms, and she carefully transferred Theo to him. Her son seemed so small in Raphael's arms, but the man held him with surprising gentleness for someone who had little experience with babies. "Hi, Theo," Raphael said softly. "Welcome. Your mom missed you so much, so much." Theo looked at Raphael with those big dark eyes, processing the new face. Then, to everyone's surprise, he gave a toothless smile. "He likes you," Marina said, surprised. "Babies are good judges of character," Juliana commented, and there was less tension in her voice now. The ride back to Richmond was filled with conversation. Juliana asked questions about the house, about the work, about the arrangements. Raphael answered everything patiently, not offended by her protective tone. Marina nursed Theo in the car, feeling complete again in a way she hadn't felt in days. When they arrived at the estate, Juliana was as impressed as Marina had been. "This is wow," was all she could say. "It's a lot, I know," Raphael said, helping them out of the car. "But I hope you feel comfortable here, both of you." Edith welcomed Juliana with the same hospitality she had shown Marina. Donna Amelia had already prepared a feast, insisting Juliana needed to eat something proper after such a trip. But the most important moment was when Raphael took Marina and Juliana to the room next to hers. He opened the door with a theatrical flourish. The room was perfect. Walls in a soft blue tone. A solid wood crib that looked like it came from a magazine. A changing table equipped with everything a baby could need. Toys organized on shelves, clothes folded in the closet, even a musical mobile hanging over the crib with stars and moons spinning gently. "It is identical to Sophia's room," Raphael explained. "I thought it would be easier that way. And whatever you need, just tell me. If you want to change something, decorate differently, add anything, feel free." Marina couldn't speak. She just held Theo tighter and nodded, fighting back more tears. Juliana, however, didn't have the same problem. "It's beautiful," she said, her voice choked up. "Raphael, I don't know how to thank you." "No need to thank me," Raphael replied. "Marina is taking care of my daughter. It is the least I can do." That night, after putting Theo to sleep in his new crib, Marina had dinner with Juliana and Raphael. The conversation flowed naturally, and Marina noticed how Juliana was gradually relaxing, laughing at the stories Raphael told about his disastrous first days as a single father. "I tried to give her a bath on the second day," Raphael was saying, "and somehow ended up wetter than she was. Edith found water even on the bathroom chandelier to... This day I don't know how I managed that," Juliana laughed. "Marina had her moments too. Remember when she tried to change Theo standing up and he peed right in her face?" "Ju!" Marina protested, but she was laughing too. "And she was like, completely shocked standing there while he continued," Juliana continued, gesturing. "Took her about 5 seconds to react." Raphael laughed loud. "That's great. Sophia hasn't done that to me yet, but I'm sure it's a matter of time." The night ended with Juliana visibly more relaxed about leaving Marina there. Before sleeping, the two sisters talked in Marina's room, with Theo sleeping peacefully in the crib next door. "He seems genuine," Juliana admitted, sitting on Marina's bed. "And the way he looks at you. I don't know. There is respect there. Admiration even." "It's not like that, Ju," Marina said quickly. "He's just grateful, nothing more." "If you say so," Juliana replied, but there was a knowing smile on her face. "Just be careful, okay? With your heart." "My heart is fine," Marina insisted. "I'm focused on Theo, on working, on building a future for us." But when Juliana left 2 days later, after personally ensuring that everything was fine, Marina found herself thinking about Raphael more than she should, about the way he interacted with Theo, picking the baby up with increasing confidence, how he and Sophia already had an established routine but always included Marina in decisions, how he asked about her day, genuinely interested, treating her as an equal and not as an employee. Weeks passed in a surprisingly comfortable rhythm. Marina took care of Sophia during the day, but since Raphael worked from home most of the time, he was always present. They developed an easy dynamic, caring for the two babies together, changing diapers, preparing bottles when necessary, taking turns with clothing changes. Theo and Sophia, despite the difference of only 3 months in age, began to interact. Sophia, now 2 months old, watched Theo with fascination. Theo, at 5 months and starting to try to sit up, seemed to protect the smaller baby, making little noises whenever she cried. "They're going to grow up like siblings," Raphael commented one afternoon, while they watched the two babies playing on an activity mat in the living room. "It's strange to think about that," Marina admitted. "But it's beautiful too." Raphael turned to her. "Can I ask you a question?" "Sure." "Are you happy here? Honestly, if you're not, if there is anything I can change to improve—" "Raphael," Marina interrupted him, touching his arm lightly. "I am happy. Happier than I have been in a long time. Theo is with me. We have everything we need. And Sophia, she has become important to me too." "And me?" Raphael asked, his voice low. "Have I become important too?" Marina felt her heart accelerate. She looked at him, really looked, and saw the vulnerability in that gaze, the hope, the fear of rejection. "Yes," she admitted, almost in a whisper. "You have become important." Raphael smiled, and it was a different smile, deeper, more meaningful. "Good, because you have become essential, for me and for Sophia." Before Marina could respond, Theo started to cry, needing attention. The moment passed, but something had changed, a tacit recognition that what was growing between them went beyond employer and employee, beyond convenience. That night, after putting both babies to sleep, Marina and Raphael met again on the terrace. It had become a habit, these quiet moments at the end of the day, just talking, sharing stories, getting to know each other. "My mother would say you are an angel," Raphael said suddenly. "She always believed in destiny, that the right people appear at the right time." "I am not an angel," Marina replied. Just someone who was in the right place. Or maybe, Raphael suggested, we were both in the right place. That plane, that moment. You needed a way to be with Theo. I needed someone for Sophia. And somehow, we found each other. Marina looked at the stars, thinking about that. About coincidences and destiny and how life can change in an instant. Sometimes I'm afraid, she confessed. Of what? That this is too good to be true. That I'll wake up and it will all have been a dream. Raphael reached out, taking her hand. It was the first time they had touched like this, intentionally, not just passing babies between them. His hand was large, warm, firm. It's not a dream, he said. It's real, and it's not going away. I promise. And when Marina looked into his eyes, she believed him. For the first time in a long time, she believed that good things could last. 2 months had passed since Theo's arrival. The house in Richmond had completely transformed. What was once silent and empty now resonated with baby laughter, children's music, and the vibrant energy of a family, even if not a traditional one. Marina was in the playroom Raphael had created especially for Theo and Sophia, sitting on the rug while supervising the two. Theo, now 7 months old, was determined to crawl, dragging himself clumsily toward a colorful toy. Sophia, at 4 months, watched his every move with fascination, as if studying for when her turn came. "Come on, Theo," Marina encouraged. "You can do it, my love." The door opened, and Raphael entered, still wearing the business clothes he had worn for a meeting earlier. He had started going to the office only 3 times a week, preferring to work from home to spend more time with Sophia and with Marina, although neither of them said it out loud. "How are the little ones?" he asked, loosening his tie as he joined them on the floor. "Theo is almost crawling for real," Marina replied, pride evident in her voice. "And Sophia rolled over by herself today. Twice." "Really?" Raphael lit up, picking his daughter up. "Who is the smartest girl in the world? It's you, Sophia, it's you." Sophia laughed, that gurgling sound babies make, and Marina felt her heart squeeze. These moments had become too precious, dangerously precious, because the problem was that Marina had broken the cardinal rule. She had fallen in love with Raphael, with their life, with the way he treated Theo as if he were his own son, rocking him to sleep when he cried at night, making airplane noises with food, singing silly songs that made the baby laugh, with the way his eyes lit up when she entered the room, with the way he asked her opinion on everything, from decisions about Sophia to home renovations. It was dangerous, because they came from completely different worlds, because she was the nanny. No matter how much he insisted, she was more than that, because eventually he would meet someone of his social level, and Marina would be just a pleasant memory of the difficult time after the abandonment. "Marina," she blinked, realizing Raphael was talking to her. "Sorry, what was it?" "I asked if you had plans for tomorrow night." "Besides taking care of the kids?" "No." Raphael hesitated, then continued. "It's just that Edith offered to stay with Theo and Sophia. She loves spending time with them, and I thought maybe we could go out, dinner, or a movie, or just walk in the park, whatever you prefer." Marina's heart raced. "A date?" "If you want to call it that," Raphael replied, and there was a vulnerability in his eyes she rarely saw. "Or just 2 friends going out, 2 people who live in the same house and almost never leave it, as you prefer." Marina knew she should say no. That, crossing this line, would make everything more complicated, but when she looked at Raphael, at the barely disguised hope on his face, she couldn't refuse. "Okay, that would be nice." The smile that broke across his face was radiant. "Great. Perfect. Great." He was nervous, Marina realized with surprise. Rafael Almeida, confident CFO of a multi-million-pound company, was nervous about going out with her. The next day passed in a blur of anxiety and preparation. Donna Amelia, who somehow found out about the outing, insisted on helping Marina choose clothes. Edith, with a knowing smile, assured her the babies would be perfectly fine. When Marina came down the stairs at 7 in the evening, wearing a simple but elegant dress Edith had bought for her. Raphael was waiting in the hall. He wore dress trousers and a light blue shirt that highlighted his eyes, and when he saw her, he was visibly speechless for a moment. "You look beautiful," he said finally. "You too," Marina replied, feeling her face heat up. Raphael took her to a small, cozy Italian restaurant in a nearby neighborhood. It wasn't ostentatious or over the top, but it had an intimate atmosphere with candles on the tables and soft music in the background. During dinner, they talked as they always did, but there was a different quality now, a new awareness. When their hands accidentally touched reaching for the bread, neither pulled away immediately. "Can I ask you an honest question?" Raphael asked when they finished the main course. "Always. Are you happy? Truly? Because sometimes I look at you and see something in your eyes, a sadness, a fear, and I wonder if I'm doing something wrong, if I should be doing more." Marina took a deep breath. "I am happy, Raphael, incredibly happy, but I'm also scared." "Of what?" "Of this." She gestured, between them. "Of what is happening? Because it's not just about work anymore, is it? And I don't know what to do with that." Raphael was quiet for a moment, his fingers playing with the wine glass. "You're right. It's not just about work. Not for me. It hasn't been for weeks." Marina's heart beat faster. "Raphael, let me finish," he asked gently. "Please. I know this is complicated. I know technically I am your employer, although I hate that word. I know we come from different places, had different lives. But Marina, when I look at you, I don't see any of that. I see the woman who saved my daughter, who saved me, who turned an empty house into a home, who treats my daughter like hers and makes me want to be a better father, a better person." Marina felt tears in her eyes. "You don't know how much I want to believe that. But what about 6 months from now, a year? When you meet someone more suitable, someone from your social class who understands your world?" "Do you think I care about social class?" Raphael asked, incredulous. "Marina, I grew up with my dad fixing cars in a tiny garage. My mum worked cleaning houses. I know what it is to be judged by where you come from. And I promise I would never, never do that to you." "But other people will," Marina insisted. "Your colleagues, your friends. They will look at me and see the nanny who took advantage of the vulnerable boss." Raphael reached across the table, taking her hand. "Then let them look. Let them think what they want. The only opinion that matters is mine, and yours, and Sophia's eventually." "And Theo's," Marina added quietly. "And Theo's," Raphael agreed. "But I think they've already decided. They love us, both of us, together." Marina wanted to believe, God, how she wanted to, but fear still held her back. "I need time," she said, "to process, to be sure." "As much time as you need," Raphael promised. "I'm not going anywhere." When they returned home, Edith informed them that both babies were sleeping deeply. Raphael walked Marina to her bedroom door, and they stood there in the quiet hallway, just looking at each other. "Thank you for the night," Marina said softly. "Thank you for giving me a chance." Raphael leaned in, and for a moment, Marina thought he was going to kiss her. Her heart raced, her body leaned forward unconsciously. But he just kissed her forehead, gentle and respectful, before pulling away. "Good night, Marina." "Good night, Raphael." Marina entered the room, closed the door and leaned against it, bringing her hand to her forehead where she could still feel the warmth of his lips. She was in trouble, serious trouble. The following days were a careful dance. They continued their routines, caring for the babies, dining together, sharing moments. But now there was an electric current in the air, a constant awareness of each other. A week after the dinner, Juliana called. It was a video call, and when she appeared on the screen, Marina immediately noticed something different in her expression. "Ju, is everything okay?" "I'm great," Juliana replied, "but I need to talk to you, and maybe Raphael too." Marina frowned. "Why? Did something happen?" "Nothing bad, but, Mari, I'm coming to visit, next week, for a few days." "That's great," Marina exclaimed. I'll talk to Raphael to prepare the room. I already spoke to him, Juliana admitted. He suggested I come, actually. Said he thought it would be good for you to have someone from the family around. Marina blinked. He suggested it? Yes. And Mari, I think we need to talk about you and him. Because from our conversations, it's pretty clear what is happening. And I want to make sure you are thinking with your head and not just your heart. Marina felt a tightness in her chest. Ju, it's not what you think. Isn't it? Juliana challenged gently. Because the last time we talked, you spent 20 minutes telling me about how Raphael helped Theo calm down when he had colic, and 15 minutes about how patient and kind and attentive he is. Mari, I know you. You are falling in love with him, if you haven't already. Marina opened her mouth to deny it, but the words didn't come. Because Juliana was right. She had already fallen. Completely. Irrevocably. I'm scared, she finally admitted, her voice breaking. I know, love, Juliana said, her expression softening. That's why I'm coming there. So you can tell me everything. And so I can get to know this man who conquered my sister's heart better. Okay? Marina nodded, wiping away tears. Okay, thank you, Ju. When she hung up, Marina sat for a long time staring at the blank phone screen. Theo was sleeping in the crib, making those little sleeping baby sounds. From the window she could see the garden illuminated by the moon. There was a soft knock at the door. Raphael. Come in, she called. He entered, looking hesitant. I saw you finished with Juliana. Is everything okay? She's coming to visit. I know. I hope you don't mind that I suggested it. I just thought it would be good for you to have your sister around. Marina looked at him, this man who thought of her constantly, who worried about her well-being, who treated her son like his own. Why are you so good to me? Raphael stepped fully into the room, closing the door behind him. Because you deserve goodness, Marina. You deserve to be treated like the incredible person you are, and because I care about you. Much more than I should, maybe, but I care. I care too, Marina confessed, finally saying the words out loud. I care so much, it's scary. Raphael crossed the room to her, kneeling in front of where she was sitting. Then, let's be scared together, but let's not let fear stop us from at least trying. And when he took her hand, interlacing their fingers, Marina knew. She knew there was no turning back, that regardless of what happened, her heart already belonged to him. The week of Juliana's visit arrived quickly. Marina was nervous, organizing the house for the third time that morning, even though Edith insisted everything was already perfect. You are more anxious than when you first came, Raphael observed, holding Sophia while watching Marina adjust the sofa cushions again. It's different, Marina replied. This time she's coming, to evaluate, to decide if I'm making the right choice. And are you? Raphael asked softly. Making the right choice? Marina stopped, looking at him. In the last few weeks, since that night in her room, they had gotten closer, but they still hadn't taken the final step. They still danced around the inevitable, both afraid to ruin the delicate balance they had found. Before she could answer, the doorbell rang. Juliana had arrived. The next few days were revealing in ways Marina didn't expect. Juliana watched everything with attentive eyes. How Raphael treated Marina, how he interacted with Theo, making airplane noises during feeding, changing diapers without complaining, rocking him to sleep. How Marina took care of Sophia with the same love she dedicated to Theo. But it was on the third night, after they put the children to sleep, that Juliana asked to speak privately with Marina. They sat in Marina's room and Juliana had a serious expression. I need to tell you something, Juliana began. Something Raphael asked me not to tell, but I think you have a right to know. Marina's heart raced. What? Raphael reached out to me 2 weeks ago, asked for my advice. About you. Marina felt her breathing accelerate. What kind of advice? Juliana sighed. He wanted to know if I thought you would feel pressured if he declared his feelings, if it would be inappropriate given that technically he is your employer. He was genuinely worried about making you feel uncomfortable, or obligated to reciprocate for fear of losing your job. Marina was speechless. Raphael had reached out to her sister out of concern for her. "And what did you say?" Marina finally asked. "I told the truth, that you were falling in love with him as much as he with you, but that you were afraid of not being enough, of it being just a phase, that when the dust settled, he would realize it was a mistake." Tears burned in Marina's eyes. "And what did he say?" Juliana smiled, taking her sister's hand. "He said you were the most right thing that ever happened in his life, that when he looks at you with Theo and Sophia, he sees not just a nanny, but a mother, a family. He said he wants to make it official, not forced, but when you are ready." "Make it official how?" Marina whispered. "Mari," Juliana said gently. "He wants to make you a real family, you, him, Theo, and Sophia. But he's afraid you'll think it's out of convenience, or pity, or anything less than what it really is." "And what is it really?" "Love," Juliana answered simply. "True love, the kind that doesn't care about social differences or circumstances, the kind that just exists and grows and becomes impossible to ignore." Marina covered her face with her hands, finally allowing the tears to fall. "I'm so scared, Ju. What if I give myself completely and he leaves me? Like Bruno, like Sophia's mother left him." "Marina," Juliana said firmly, pulling her sister's hands away from her face. "Look at me. Raphael is not Bruno, and you are not Beatrice. You both were broken by other people, but you are healing together, building something new, something beautiful. And you deserve this. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be loved." Marina sobbed, clinging to her sister. "But what if—" "There is no what if," Juliana interrupted. "There is only now. And right now you have a man downstairs who loves you, who loves your son as if he were his own. And you have two babies who need to see that love is possible, that families can be formed in unexpected ways, that it's worth taking risks." Later that night, when Juliana was already asleep, Marina went downstairs. She found Raphael in the living room, sitting in the dark, looking out the window. "Can't sleep?" she asked softly. He turned, surprised. "Marina, No. I was thinking." "About?" Raphael hesitated. "About everything. About how empty my life was before you. How full it is now. About how afraid I am of ruining this." Marina crossed the room, sitting next to him, on the sofa. "Juliana told me about your conversation." Raphael tensed. "She shouldn't have." "I'm happy she told me," Marina interrupted him, "because it made me realize something, that I'm wasting time being afraid of a future that might not even happen when I could be enjoying the present." Raphael turned fully to her. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying I'm scared too. I'm saying this scares me more than anything has ever scared me. But I'm saying I want to try. With you. With our strange and wonderful family we've built." Raphael's expression transformed into something so full of hope and love that Marina felt her heart squeeze. "Our family?" "Ours," Marina confirmed, "because Sophia is my daughter as much as Theo, and Theo is your son as much as Sophia, and we are—" "Mine," Raphael completed, cupping her face in his hands. "You are mine and I am yours if you want me." "I want you," Marina whispered. "I love you, Raphael. I fell in love with you somewhere between taking care of your daughter and you making my son laugh. Between conversations on the terrace and family dinners. I love you and I'm tired of fighting it." "Marina," Raphael said, his voice thick with emotion. "I love you too. I love everything about you. Your strength, your kindness, the way you turned this house into a home. How you care for Sophia as if she came from you. How you make me want to be better. I love you and I want to spend the rest of my life proving it to you." And then, finally, he kissed her. Soft at first, almost hesitant, as if he still couldn't believe he had permission. But when Marina responded, pulling him closer, the kiss deepened, charged with weeks of restraint, of suppressed desire, of unspoken love. When they finally separated, both were breathless, resting their foreheads against each other. "We have to tell the kids," Marina said with a smile. Raphael laughed. "I think Sophia already knows. She's always happier when we're together." "Theo too," Marina agreed. "He loves when you're around." A cry cut through the night. "Sophia." Both stood up automatically, but Raphael motioned for Marina to sit. "Let me go. You went the last 3 times." But Marina stood up anyway. "Let's go together." They found Sophia awake in the crib, not really crying, but making those noises that meant she would start soon. Raphael picked her up carefully, but she kept squirming. Marina approached, placing her hand on the baby's little face. "Hi, princess. Are you hungry?" In response, Theo started crying in the next room. Marina and Raphael exchanged looks and laughed. "Of course they're synchronized," Raphael commented. Marina went to get Theo, returning to Sophia's room. They sat together on the large sofa Raphael had placed there specifically for moments like this. Marina nursed Sophia while Raphael held Theo, burping him after his bottle. And there, at 3 in the morning, with 2 babies in their arms, Marina looked at Raphael and saw her future. She saw more nights like this. She saw first steps and first words. She saw birthdays and holidays. She saw a family. "Marry me," Raphael said suddenly, his voice low but firm. Marina blinked, unsure if she had heard correctly. "What?" "I know it's fast," Raphael continued, shifting Theo to one arm so he could take Marina's free hand. "And I know we are still learning each other, but I also know I don't want to spend a day without you. I don't want Sophia to grow up without knowing you are her mother. I don't want Theo to have any doubt that I am his father, and selfishly, I don't want you to have any doubt that this is forever." Marina felt tears streaming down her face. "Raphael." "You don't have to answer now," he rushed to say. "You can take as much time as you need, but I needed you to know that my intention from the beginning was to build a family with you, our family." Marina looked at Sophia, who had finished nursing and was now sleeping peacefully in her lap. She too looked at Theo, who was doing the same in Raphael's arms. She looked at the man who in a matter of months had become her whole world. "Yes," she said. Raphael blinked. "Yes?" "Yes, I will marry you," Marina repeated, firmer now. "Because you're right, we are a family, and I want the whole world to know. I want these children to grow up knowing that true love exists, that families can be formed in unexpected ways, that sometimes all you need is to be in the right place at the right time and have the courage to accept the help offered." Raphael pulled her into a kiss, careful not to wake the babies between them. When they separated, both were crying and laughing at the same time. "I love you," Raphael said. "I love you and Theo more than I thought it was possible to love." "And I love you and Sophia," Marina replied, "our crazy, perfect family." The next morning, when Juliana came down for breakfast, she found Marina and Raphael in the kitchen, preparing breakfast together while the babies played on the activity mat. There was something different in the atmosphere, a lightness, a happiness. "Did something happen?" Juliana asked, grabbing a cup of coffee. Marina and Raphael exchanged looks. Then Marina extended her hand, showing the simple but beautiful ring Raphael had placed on her finger that morning. It was a ring that had belonged to his mother, kept for years waiting for the right person. Juliana screamed, almost dropping the coffee. "You guys are getting married?" "We are," Marina confirmed, beaming. "We are going to be a real family." Juliana hugged them both, crying with happiness. "I am so happy for you. So happy." Donna Amelia appeared from the pantry, obviously having heard everything, and also started crying and hugging everyone. Edith entered right after, maintaining her British composure, but her eyes were visibly damp. "Well," she said, discreetly wiping her eyes, "we will have to plan a proper wedding. I know the perfect place in Richmond. View of the Thames. Very appropriate." The following months were a whirlwind of planning, but also of deep and constant happiness. They married in a small, intimate ceremony in the spring, with Theo and Sophia as an official part of the celebration. Juliana was the maid of honor, and Raphael's best friend from university was the best man. When the celebrant asked if anyone had objections, Theo chose that exact moment to give his first loud laugh, making everyone chuckle. Sophia, not wanting to be left behind, started babbling loudly, and Marina and Raphael exchanged looks full of love and amusement. It wasn't a traditional family. It hadn't started in a traditional way, but it was theirs, built on kindness, trust, and a moment of compassion on an airplane. Years later, when Theo and Sophia were old enough to understand, Marina and Raphael would tell the story of how they met, of how a simple offer of breast milk turned into a family, of how sometimes life's greatest gifts come in the most unexpected moments, and the children would always ask to hear the story again, because it was their story, the story of how four lost people found each other and built a home. Marina would never forget that plane, that desperate cry, that decision to help, because it changed everything. It gave her not just Theo back, but a whole family, a love she never imagined finding, a life she never dreamed possible. And when she looked at Raphael years later, she still saw the same thing she saw that first night on the terrace: home, family, love. End of story. If Marina and Raphael's journey touched your heart, know that we have many other moving stories waiting for you. Stories of overcoming, of unexpected love, of families formed in extraordinary ways. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of these narratives that celebrate the strength of the human heart and the beauty of second chances. Leave a like if you believe that true love can arise in the most unlikely places, and in the comments tell us, do you believe in destiny? Have you ever lived a moment that completely changed your life? We want to read your story too. Until next time, and remember, sometimes all we need is the courage to extend a hand when someone needs help, because you never know how that simple gesture can transform not only the other person's life but yours too.